Welcome to Full Sun Living. This week, we're talking about being generous and cheap. Let's send it.
Send it!
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today on this week's episode of Full Sun Living. Today we're going to talk about being generous and cheap. If this is the first time that you're joining us, why don't you smash that subscribe button? We got new episodes coming out every first and third Friday of every single month.
Consistent.
Yep, consistently. And you can watch us on YouTube, and you can subscribe by Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts.
Wherever you want to find us, you'll find us.
Yeah. Make sure you like and comment below too.
Do that. Like and comment. Leave your comments, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Join in on the conversation.
Today, we're talking about being generous and cheap and what that looks like, how to become a more generous person, and how not to be a cheap person who's not kind or generous to anybody else.
It's a real Scrooge.
Yeah, we need it. Especially the millennials and Gen Zs apparently. According to church statistics, the millennials and Gen Zs, shockingly enough, are the lowest givers in the church.
Yeah, come on, you guys.
Yeah, let's fix that, guys.
Fix that?
Yeah,
let's get into this.
Fix that in the world. Okay, so Nate, when was there a time someone was generous to you?
Well, Ethan, I've got a story. When I worked for a guy. I worked at the doctor's office. I worked for Dr. Aaron Clark.
Okay.
Shout out to Clarkster. And at the time, I was also in a band.
Okay.
So
Nail Point.
Nail Point. Shout out to Nail Point. Rest in peace.
I was one of the first fans.
First fan.
Yeah.
So anyways, when we were kind of going all in on this band idea.
Yeah.
And I would talk to him all the time about stuff, I guess, because I worked with him. I was a medical assistant.
Yeah.
And then we were like we needed to buy like a PA, and there was like stuff we needed to actually start.
Not a physician's assistant.
Want
to make sure we're staying in our lanes here.
Like
a portable sound system.
Yes, so that we have speakers and microphones and all of this stuff. And I was talking to him about it, and it was like Memorial Day weekend sale was coming up at Guitar Center.
Let's go. The original Sweetwater.
The original Sweetwater. Guitar Center down in Roseville. And no joke, he was like, "Let's go." And I was like, "What?
What do you mean?"
And he was like, "Let's go get a PA. What do you need?" And I was just like, he's like, "For real?" He's
you
like,
mean with my money or
with
I
was like, I don't. And he's like,
whose money are we talking about?
Dude, he was all in. He was like, "I'll buy your guys' PA. I'll buy whatever you need."
So cool.
So we get together, the band, we load up. Clark comes with us.
Yeah.
We go to Roseville, Michigan's Guitar Center, and we just start spending money. Like in a way that I had never spent money before,
like
ever.
Bring in the cart, grab everything you can within 5 minutes, and you can take it out.
Like I remember we bought some JBLs, like mains that were like legit mains, and then we bought some subwoofers. Like we bought double sided. I want to say they're like 2 18-inch subwoofers, and then the mains were like real deal.
Let's go.
Double-sided on that. And we got the power amps to power them. We bought microphone stands, cables.
He bought all that?
All of it. We bought a snake.
That's a big...
Dude, we were over $5,000. Like, I remember this. Dude, I won't forget it.
Just from my knowledge of today's value of what that could be, you're talking like 25 grand.
Dude, we were... guys,
no joke.
So, and I'm like... And we're like young, and we're just like... We just love God. The idea was like, we're just gonna play some music for Jesus.
Yeah.
So then we bought stuff that we didn't even know what we had. Like this guy sold us this thing. It was like a DBX compressor. I don't even know, but he was like, "You need that." So we're like, a good compressor. "Okay." Yeah. So we bought that. Had it for like 4 years and never used it because we didn't know what it was.
Oh, come on!
I know. We figured it out, guys. We figured it out.
That's a whole.
That's a whole nother podcast. Having something you don't understand what you have.
Write it down.
That. So we left Guitar Center, like to go, ready to go to a show, and then he was like, "When you're done using it, just give it back to me."
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He was just like loaned it out to you.
But then, dude, we
Bought
had
it for you and loaned it to you.
Oh, wait, though. First show, we melted the cones in the subs because we hooked it up wrong because we didn't freaking know what we were doing. So we had to get them reconed. But no, they were covered. Something happened. They covered them.
Like warranty.
Uh-huh. And we ended up selling those eventually, and we bought these. They were called like coffin cabinets, like a little bit old school design, but they were long throw cabinets where these other ones weren't. So the base was like ridiculous. All that to say, the generosity. It hasn't. I don't know that it's been rivaled yet in my life with what Clark did that day, because we went and we took that PA everywhere. And we just always had a PA. So when we showed up places, the venues would be like, "Oh no, we got a sound system." And we'd come in and they'd be like, "You don't have a sound system. We're like a rock band."
Yeah.
And then we're like, "We've got our PA. We're just gonna hook it up." And we're gonna blow the doors off places because we just had it.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna tell you one more thing about it. Oh, when we finished, we stopped being a band. 12 years later, I don't even know what it was. I called Clark. I was like, "Dude, I got your PA for you. We gave it all back. Like whatever we had, we gave it all back to them, and they used it at their church." I just remembered this.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
like the
awesome.
JBLs were still like ripping. And then we got rid of the long throw cabinets. My uncle took some Sherwin Vegas, their design. We found like the schematics, and he built us their long throw cabinets of Sherwin Vegas. So then we put like the speakers in that one. So then we gave him our new subs, which were technically 100% better than the ones we originally bought.
Yeah.
Dude, that generosity was like unreal, unparalleled to me, because it changed like the course of our life. I could say that out loud because when we had that PA, it took the band to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That's a long story.
That's cool though. What's cool. So I guess one comment to it is like, when you think about the fruit of what Clark sowed, I'm calling him Clark like I know him.
You know, that's what he goes by.
Clark.
He goes by, no, call him Clark.
Okay, so
he's barely
what
a doctor.
Clark,
I'm just
it's
kidding.
cool
He's a
from
good
like
doctor.
what he sowed. It's like who knows how many people were impacted through
Dude,
your
the
band.
gospel came through that PA.
Yeah,
like
multiple times.
Dude,
even
you're making me think things.
I was probably at one of those events with that PA, and so you think about the impact that his generosity had that he didn't get to see with his physical eyes, but in know spiritual terms, he gets to reap that reward. It shows like these are the stories that encourage us to give. It encourages us to live a life of generosity, because what you sow, you will reap.
Yeah.
Both in being cheap and in generosity, you know?
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that you just said that, because that PA went into a maximum security prison in Arkansas.
Dude, come on.
We were like the first band of like a rock band of go. And we were up against movie night. One of the prisoners told us, and they were like, the last time we had like Christian band in here, it was like, he was like, it wasn't good. So like people were kind of trying to pick if they're going to come to
night or
dude, point. And we freaking ripped it like in this maximum security prison. And then like Wyatt gave away a pick to some dude. Like, so then they had like contraband, like everybody on the wall. It was bizarre. But that PA was there. That like, and like 30 some dudes stood up to accept Christ that day.
Come on.
And they were all dressed in white. I always pictured prisoners to be in like the orange things, but they were all white suits. I was like, it was like a sea of angels. Not angels, though.
Just all male.
Yeah. And
That's
but that was
cool.
that PA. Like Clark was there. Like his generosity took it there.
Yeah.
Because what would we do without the PA? There were so many things we wouldn't have been able to do without it. But because of what he gave, allowed us to ramp it up even more, because we were willing to run like crazy. So we just needed some fuel. Yeah. And he fueled it.
Do you ever find that like by experiencing that kind of generosity, it causes you to not be able to be cheap? Like it convicts you when you want to be cheap, because you've experienced such generosity that there's this thing in our conscience that says you've been given much. Yeah. You know,
you definitely, I have lost sight of it over the years. You know what I mean? Because there's like this sense of like, you forget. It's just easy to forget those moments, really, because I haven't thought about that in a long time.
I've never even heard this story, and I feel like I've known you for
years,
almost 7 years now, and I've never heard that story. So I mean, that's cool.
But like that, you're right though. I think with keeping that stuff up front, you remember like, no, somebody did this for me.
Yeah.
You know, in the way like, I don't know. Last winter, this chick, she was driving and her windows were all snowed, and she pulled in front of me, and I rear-ended her.
Oh yeah.
And she got out of the car and was yelling at me, and I was like, let's start over.
No, you said it. I've heard this story before. You said that way nicer than you actually did. She's like, and he says, let's start over.
Yeah. So we started over.
You were gonna make it sound like you were so generous.
I was so generous.
You were generous with your money, not with your heart.
I was.
I'm just kidding.
It was coming up on the holidays, and I remember just being like, and I don't even know why. It was God, because I was just like, I don't know, just go. And I FaceTimed her boyfriend, and I was like, I don't know, dude, you're fine. I'll take care of my stuff. I said, if it's better for you for me to not do anything, let's do that. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, they were so happy. Yeah. And then I had like extensive damage, because when I first looked at it, I was like, it's nothing. And then Eric Pilon, mechanic, shout out to Eric, he was like, yeah, there's a little bit going on here. And I was like, I didn't even get her number. I don't know. But like, I felt like that maybe was more instilled into me, to be just like that kind of kindness, to be like, I don't know, if it's better for you, let's do it. Yeah. But I've lost sight of that for too many times, an embarrassing amount of times. Yeah. What about you? Tell me about you.
About what?
Generous, when somebody was just like crazy generous towards you, or a time you like.
Trying to think. I know there's been like tons of stories. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to like think of like one that was super like mind-blowingly impactful. I mean, there's like different times where somebody gives something to you, and you know that like they can't afford what they're giving to you. And I feel like those moments are the ones that are like really humbling. Yeah. Yeah. Where you're just like, so one example is, so like Lydia's parents, when we first had our rental home, we got a rental home. We had no washer and dryer, or anything else. And like, we didn't have the money for one. And they were just like, we're going to buy you a washer and dryer. But we knew like they had like all their kids at home, and they just paid for our wedding. Like, it's like the bills were just flooding in. Lydia's dad was working 2 jobs. He was working at being a full-time pastor and selling cars. And then they were like, we'll buy you pair of washers. And it was just like dude, thank you, and it was just that feeling of like, that's like a whole commission for you. Yeah. It's not, especially being somebody who was a car salesman who was really bad at it. You're just thinking that one commission could be like your one for the whole week. Right. And really, if you think about 2 or 3 times at a car lot and you only sell one, that's like 36 hours worth of waiting for somebody to come, and then you sell a car, right, and then there goes your washer and dryer. Dude,
and doesn't that even in itself puts the 2 stories in perspective, where it's not even like the essential like cost of what or how much the dollar amount was. It was almost more of like just seeing the need that needed to be met. You know? And then the value is like has like a sense of equality to it in each of our hearts, because it was like, no, you don't, like, even when you have those, when each of us have these needs that we can't fully meet, but somebody else can help meet that for you, there's a value there that's the dollar amounts.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like all of these things that happen of people being generous, it just causes you to want to match their level of generosity. Yeah. Like, I feel like every time somebody's generous to me, I'm like, Lord, I want to be that for the next for somebody down the road. Mm-hmm. So we had a situation a few years ago where this family came to us and they said, basically, like, we don't have a car, and they had 4 kids, and we were just like, how do you how do you even do life
Right.
if you have 4 kids and you're
No
married
car,
and
yeah.
you have no car? And we had 2 cars at the time, and 2 cars total. So we had like one that fit all of our kids, and then we had our little Toyota Prius that literally only seats 5, but they had 6, and we were just like we were just like, okay, well, it was like the Lord was just like, you have 2 cars and you work from home, Ethan. And I'm like, but sometimes I like to go to the gym, God. Just like,
I'm about to go minister at the gym to someone getting swole.
Yeah, come on, man. And like you start almost debating with yourself of like, well, but I might need it to go do these things. But then you're like, they might need it to go do everything that you would do.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
right.
And that reality set in. And so we let them borrow our car, which felt like a huge deal because that car was the first car we ever had that was a nice car.
Yeah.
Like it was the first car that we drove that we didn't wonder, is this going to
Are we
break
going to
down
get
today?
to where we're going?
Yeah.
Right.
And so to let somebody take our car that was like the only car that we could trust.
A real thing.
Yeah.
Not like here's
Not like
some
a
bread.
toy. Yeah. So when they took it, they had it for a month, and they were supposed to only have it, I think, for a week. But we let them have it for a month, and they took it to Canada looking for
Going to get, just living life, dude.
We like literally
just let them live
they
their
went
life.
to like Detroit to Canada. They probably could have gone to Florida. I don't know. But they went
Like, how far
so
these
many.
batteries take us?
They got some miles on that puppy, and when we got it back, they put like money in the
Like glove box?
ironically now I'm seeing it. They put money in the glove box to say thank you but it was like for an oil change. But now I'm like, yeah, because you put 3,000 miles on it.
The oil light's been on for 4 months.
Just kidding. But they just said, and we were like, we didn't want that, but
that's cool though.
Yeah.
And that even within that gives them the opportunity to
yeah,
be generous too.
yep,
One time there was a dude Kate and I knew they were having a kid, and we were kind of like, let's do something. We didn't have a ton, but we came up with the idea because Bear was just getting out of his car seat. So we were like, we'll give him our car seat. Like, it's a good one. It was like a Kiko or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I remember it cost a lot of money.
Greg.
I don't know. So anyway, it came with the car seat, but then the car seat would lock also into the stroller. Like it was like a thing.
Greyco.
But he fit in the stroller though. So then I was kind of like, how are we going to give him both? You know, we were kind of like, probably should just keep the stroller, but the car seat kind of can lock in so you can take your kid out.
It's kind of a 2-for-1.
I
thing.
know.
Yeah.
Dude, and it was fun. This funny moment I felt like where we were both kind of like, we got to give them both. I mean, that's kind of like a doo-doo move. We ended up doing it, but I just remember initially like thinking like, yeah, we're being so kind right now. He's giving them this and just...
Man, if they only knew how awesome we are.
Oh my God. And then, and then we were going to give him like for the little baby, and then they'd have to just carry him around like without put him in the stroller. It was just a funny moment of like, I don't even know why I'm telling this story. It's so stupid. We ended up doing it, but I remember just being like, I was like selfishly being like, no, man, we still use the stroller though.
Yeah.
Like we don't use the cars anymore. Clearly we can give that away.
Yeah.
But that was a learning moment too, to just be like,
Lydia's that for me, the convicting person for me, because I feel like so many times I'm the 50% there person, and she's like why would you
go all the way?
Because I think like Lydia looks at this as we're giving unto the Lord, like the Matthew 28:25.
Fact check that.
Matthew 25. You know what? Just read the whole book,
Read the
and then you'll
Bible.
find
When
it.
you find
But
it,
when he
you
says,
pull-
"If you did it to me, if you did it to the least of these, you did it to me." And so Lydia looks at it. She just has such a great mindset because she just like, we're doing this to the Lord, and so you wouldn't give the Lord 50% of your gift. You would give him 100%. And so there's so many times where I've been like, "Yeah, let's just give this," and she's like, "What are you talking about, dummy?"
Like imagine Mother Mary putting Jesus in the car seat we gave, but then she'd have to like lug him around to synagogue.
Yeah,
and
embarrassing.
me just strolling by with like a kid who can walk. Hey Mary, your arms look sore.
I'll let you borrow this for today.
When he grows out of it, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
there is that.
Yeah. I think there's a level of making sure that when your heart is asking you to be generous, that you don't limit that, because there's a gift at the end of that there's a fulfillment that comes. And then there's actually, I actually preached on this a while ago.
Preach again.
When you give and when you're generous to people, your brain actually releases oxytocin. Oxytocin?
Sure. Serotonin.
Serotonin.
Oxycontin.
I wanted to say oxycontin.
Yeah, it's a drug.
Serotonin.
You don't want
there's
that
the
one.
other one.
Serotonin.
Dopamine.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting
serotonin. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. Sorry, I had a little
fact check serotonin. I can't.
It is serotonin. It's serotonin and dopamine.
Okay.
Both.
How long ago did you preach on this?
Like a year ago.
Okay, I'll give you credit. Sure. Okay.
So
we'll give him slack, people.
Guys, I'm always the one to fact check myself. Now you're fact checking me. So
your brain
the study
endorphins.
showed that you release endorphins when you're generous to people, and that people who are givers and the people who are generous to other people are actually way more happy in life than other people who don't.
Dude, it is true. Nobody can argue it. We know it.
Yeah, it's
true. It's just
getting your head around, okay, I don't have a lot of money in my bank account. How do I still be generous? And you can be generous with your time. You can be generous with your items that you own. You can be generous by giving what you have, making meals, whatever. I think about, there was a couple years ago where we had some friends who, for whatever reason, at Christmas time, we just feel like we need to give these people, like, I think it was like $400 or something like that. And we just like, okay. So we gave them $400. And I think it was within, I think, a week, all their tires were done on their car. Like they blew to like a tire, and all the rest of their tires were so dead that Discount Tire was like, we can't replace one because they're all dead.
Like, we can't let you leave.
We can't let you leave. We're gonna hold your car ransom because the wheels are.
You shouldn't even been able to get here.
Yeah. And they like had texted us, and they were just like, hey, like, you have no idea how just perfect this was, because this just happened. And that to us was just like, man, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for letting us be your hands and feet in a moment where our friends were going to be struggling and not know what to do. It's like, to be that person where you're in the middle of trouble, you're able to say it's all going to be okay. Yeah. That's like the best thing ever,
dude.
Oh
man,
I think that, and even for you as a band, really, here's how we send it. Be the it's all going to be okay to somebody. Dude, find somebody that it, like, for you as a band, you're like, I want to tour, I want to do this as a band. And Dr. Clark was like, it's all going to be okay.
Now let's go.
Yeah.
And dude, I like that.
Look for somebody who just needs help of any kind.
And like Ethan said, like, with time, like, just scope out from the thought of like, oh, I got to try to give somebody $100. I don't even have $100. Well, then, if God's not asking you that, what is he asking you of? I mean, what can you fill in for somebody that you can say, it's going to be all right, man. Like, I'm here to help you with this. I'm here, and with my time, with I've got this thing you can use. You're remodeling your house. I got some stuff you can use. Like, I can come and help you do this thing.
Nate was here in this building helping me stud out these walls and like clean up the walls.
Some of it was crooked, but we got it figured out.
Yep. At the end of the day, it was generous. Yeah. And so to me, like, I've texted Nate and some of the other guys who have helped. When I pray up here, I literally think about the men who helped me accomplish this sanctuary, because I call this the upstairs the sanctuary. And it's true. Like, that generosity, like, I believe you guys will reap some fruit. I only say some because the rest is mine.
Yes. Here's your tiny basket.
Here's your tiny basket. But I believe you guys will reap the fruit of even just my time up here with the Lord, like that precious time of the Lord giving me revelation and stuff like that. You're like, I'll sign. Please. But
my basket.
I just think it all pays out. It just pays out in different ways.
It's reaping and sowing, dude.
Yep. So
yes. Okay, send it, you guys.
Do it. Yeah, comment below.
Yep.
How you have been generous, how people have been generous to you. let's get a little dialogue going on, because if you are, explaining things that have happened to you in the past of people being generous, it will give other people ideas of how they can be generous.
Dude,
yeah.
yes.
So why don't you comment below?
Yep.
That would be awesome.
I like it.
And click that like button, subscribe, because we got new episodes coming out all the time, and they're all really good.
I think so.
And we got some guests coming on too,
Yes.
so that's exciting.
I'm excited about our next guest.
Yes, you guys are gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Keep at it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.